I put myself on the waiting list with 311, which is the city's main shelter service. I called them twice a week, every week, religiously. Yesterday or the day before, at 4 a.m., they claimed to have made a call to me for placement. I was asleep, like most other 27-week pregnant women. So 311 calls. They say that they closed my case. I posted the text message. 5:39 a.m. I get a text message from their system, automated, saying, your case has been closed. I just burst into tears. I've been on the waiting list for a year, more than a year. After sitting on the waiting list for a very long time for a shelter, I receive a call at 5:39 a.m. or a text rather, saying your case has been closed. I call 911 and ask them to connect me to 311 again, so I have all of double documentation. The woman answers and says my case is closed because they tried calling me at 5 a.m. and I was asleep. I am 26 weeks pregnant, November 16th in Chicago. It is going to be very cold very soon. I said, I'm calling now 10 minutes later. She said that I need to start a new case if I want to be considered for placement. I don't have a voicemail. I don't have a missed call. I have nothing. My father used to say to me, Heather, you have to follow up with these people. No one is just going to hand it to you. If there's a bunch of people who are requesting shelter, you have to stay on top of them. So starting September of this year, I began calling every week. Also, my father called and submitted a ticket for me to a landline number, his number. They don't want to help me. They want me to die in the street. Yesterday or the day before, at 4 a.m., they claimed to have made a call to me. 5:39 a.m., I get a text message from their system, automated, saying, your case has been closed. I receive a call at 5:39 a.m. or a text rather. My case is closed because they tried calling me at 5 a.m. and I was asleep. 311 calls. They say that they closed my case. I don't have a voicemail. I don't have a missed call. I have nothing. In the hour and a half that it took me, that I was visiting with my daughter, after confirming verbally numerous times that he would stay with our cart with all my belongings in it, left the entire cart, just abandon it. So I can't focus on the hour and a half out of the whole month that I'm supposed to be with my child. Stop blowing smoke in my face. Because this is abandoning all my possessions and leaving them just randomly at the park. So I'm telling my 9-year-old, it's okay, baby. Everything's fine. He didn't leave this stuff. And she's like, well, he did. Doesn't look like he's there. He's not there. And my ex told me in the first place, don't have her around. So I'm standing up for Xavier. Like, Xavier would never do anything like that. He's a stand-up guy. He'd never get drunk at one of the 2 visits I have with my kid. He'd never make me look bad. He'd never abandon all of our belongings. Sure enough, out of 12 months we've been together, he's never acted like that. The mother leaves all our shit, ruins the visit with my child, and I leave. I grab our cart, my cart rather. It's not ours, it's mine. He has 2 bags on there also that I gave to him and that my sponsors paid for, not him. And I grab the cart and start walking away. And 3 blocks later, he fucking shows up and he's running after me, and doesn't say a word or starts saying curse words or mean things, but I'm ignoring them, and doesn't say a word about, I'm sorry, babe, I had to go here, I had to do this, nothing, no justification, nothing. Okay. And we get about less than a half mile away and I take a break. I go to sit down. I'm pushing the cart the entire way. He's just following behind me, screaming at me, swearing at me, pretending like he's going to hit me, running up on me to within 1 or 2 feet of my face and then stopping abruptly in an intimidating fashion. Nothing that any law enforcement would do. Nothing that any authority or someone who loves you would do, right? I asked him why he did that. 2-3 hours later, he has no recollection of doing it. None. So he was abusive to me for 4 solid hours, okay? Ruined the visit with my child. Has no recollection of doing any of it. But we've got it on camera with numerous witnesses having witnessed it. I am out here by my child's house, the younger one, the baby. We are 5 months pregnant. She does not know. Last time I came out here was May 26th and actually saw her. I came out last month. I come out every month. I bring a gift or some food, snacks, etc. and so forth, and I try to see her. May 26th was the last time I saw her. I took her to the park. I've never let Xavier be around my kids. He came with me to the park, but he sat like in a different section while I hung out with my children. I just thought it was too soon. We've only known each other for 16 months. But despite all of that, May 26th or 25th, I came out here. I took my youngest baby to the park. And her father told me that she was putting on a recital for her dance class, and that it would be Thursday in a few weeks on a Thursday. I was so happy. He's like, yes, you know, of course you're invited. They invited my grandma. I was super excited to go see it. Super excited. She actually did like a whole run through the whole dance at the park, and she had it like perfectly. Like she was perfect with all of it. That's my baby. I just was so excited to see her. Well, in addition to being worried about her because her brother and sister, who she was raised with, mind you, all 3 of my children lived with me from their births through Dylan Smith's release from the IDOC when he came home to my house in 2019-20 time. So I was so excited and, you know, just feeling like I wanted the big kids to be there to support her. My grandma, we call my grandma Gigi, my grandma to be there to support her and me to be there to support her. I was just very, very happy about it. Well, I leave the park that day, and within an hour, I get a call from Orlando, and he says, you can't come, never mind, and this is going to have to take a break from seeing you. I said, what? He's like, yeah, the police are saying that you need to go for a mental health. I said, what do you mean, the police? I guess everyone in my family's been being harassed by random members of law enforcement, despite my 3 independent psychiatric evaluations and my 15-year career visiting the same primary care physician, who happens to live a block away from Orlando's house. Every doctor saying there's nothing wrong with me. These people are way crossing their boundaries, fucking around with my ability to visit with my child. If you agree, hit the heart right now. Could you even imagine? I have no criminal record. I've done nothing to warrant this type of behavior. There is absolutely no reason in hell why I should not still have custody of my children. But if they're going to be with their fathers while I still have paper custody, so what does that mean? On paper, from a judge, the only time we've ever been seen for custody, I won. I won primary joint custody of all 3 of my children. How does law enforcement think it's their place, or people pretending to be law enforcement, or spies, or detectives, or private eyes, or whoever these people are that started surfacing after Love After Lockup aired? Who the fuck do they think they are? I mean, there are boundaries that you just don't cross. And no matter how many times I draw the line with those boundaries, these people keep pushing them and pushing them and pushing them. Last time I went in, June, to drop off a bag of groceries at the house. Orlando came outside frantic. He's like, take the groceries back. We don't need them. Like, he looked like he wanted to cry. I'm like, what is going on? He called law enforcement. He's like, they're forcing me to call them if you come here. He called law enforcement. I waited on the corner. No one ever showed up. And we are in Portage Park. This is a decent community. Like, this is not the hood. This is like, I mean, it's a hood, but it's not like the lower, like, poverty communities where it's wrong that police don't show up. Orlando said that, like, with tears in his eyes. He's like, I have to take a break from talking to you. You know, and the police are forcing us to call whenever you come. And he calls law enforcement. And they never show up, so I call law enforcement. And I'm standing on the corner of where my doctor's office is, and I'm waiting for them to show up. And I said, hi, I have primary joint custody of all 3 of my children. One of them lives here in your jurisdiction. I came to drop off some groceries and snacks to her, and her father frantically is like trying to push the food back into my arms and looks like he's blinking away tears from his eyes. Like, what is going on? And he's not a crier, so I know something's wrong. The officer says his name is Officer Deneen and literally starts laughing in my face. Deneen is the first disgusting woman who was tagged with all of my coworkers at One Energy Solutions and my husband, Dylan. So Dylan, my husband, who I was married to for the entire duration of Love After Lockup and 5 years before that, was tagged with this woman, Deneen. I have not even thought of Dylan or this woman in years. Why are Chicago law enforcement officers answering the phone using her name? Deneen? It was a man. That's not even his real name. So we look into it further. There's no Officer Deneen there. So I am concerned for my child's safety living in this jurisdiction. I am concerned as to who continues to harass my family members. And I'm also very concerned as to why I have to drop off my child's birthday gifts and food and run. It's not acceptable. I need someone to make sense of this. So we're on our way over there right now. Last month I dropped off her birthday gift. Her birthday is September 19th, so I went over there and dropped off a big birthday bag. And we walked about 15 miles to get here. We got the gift all wrapped. It's only a little bit waterlogged, not inside though, just the tissue paper on the top. And I rang the doorbell. There's definitely someone home because there was lights on. They're off now. I saw balloons, so definitely they're celebrating my child's birthday. But it was blue, which is weird, unless it was just the only happy birthday gift that they could have. Let's see if someone comes to the door. They most certainly brought their face to the little window. Let's see. This is my youngest child, who I still, to this day, have custody over and am prepared to show law enforcement paperwork to prove. Her grandpa opened the door. Thank God. Thank God. Thank God. Thank you, Franklin, for accepting the gift. He said, and Orlando don't live here anymore. I said, okay, but can you get her the gift? He said, I promise I'll bring her the gift. So I gave him the gift, and he said he brought it to her immediately. Orlando has not been able to answer the phone. Another weird issue is that his phone is on, but going straight to voicemail. I'm not blocked, but it's going straight to voicemail. Why would someone's phone be off for an extended period of time if everything is fine with them? So we have 3 clues that make me incredibly nervous. Number 1, the fact that he was blinking back tears in his eyes the last time I went over there, and everything was fine when I brought her to the park, but then all of a sudden he was like terrified and said, you can't see her anymore. Number 2, the fact that law enforcement has seen and probably has on file a copy of my only custody arrangement saying that I have primary joint custody of all 3 of my children. And number 3, the fact that to this day I've not been able to get in front of the same judge who signed those court orders. I have gone to the Daily Center where we were heard. I have gone to 555 West Harrison. I have petitioned 7 times in the last 30 months. I've gone once every 6 months to petition the court. I have emailed them thousands of times, and you guys can look at my lives here. I always go live when I'm writing these emails to the judges. Not a single one has responded back. What is going on, you guys? I have 3 children. My youngest child is being prevented direct communication with me. I call her every day, multiple times. I text her every day, all day long. I call her father. I am worried. I have been worried. May 26th of this year was the last time I was able to speak with her. A little depressed about not being able to get a hold of the children. It's been 20 weeks since I've been able to reach my youngest child. I took her to the park on May 26th. Her father came back and told me she had a dance recital that Thursday. It started texting me like an hour later saying, don't call anymore. I have no idea why. I don't want to be bludgeoned by a stranger. I don't want to be stabbed anymore. I don't want to be ignored systemically. I went to go to the courthouse last week to file an additional petition. It would be my 8th in 3 years. And they made me start, someone put something in my McDonald's, like a big breakfast for Xavier and I immediately began throwing up blood. Ended up at Northwestern Hospital. Anytime I try to file additional petitions, there is some sort of violence that occurs, explains anything to me. No one tells me what's going on or what I should do. All right, you guys, so we're a little bit late for our production meeting. We're on our way. We're keeping our meetings to 15 minutes like Gary says. And I'll update you when we're done with our very first production meeting of the day. Have a great morning. This shit up. I have a plan. I wake up Xavier. I say we need to go to the courthouse. We need to have a meeting about our next steps. It's been 18 months since I met you. You told me that your brother was the district attorney. We're supposed to receiving resolution. I get up, pack up all my stuff. This is every single time I try to do anything at all other than just lay there. That's my breakfast mixed with blood. They have me on the toilet. They have me throwing up. I am 23 weeks pregnant. Play these fucking games with someone else. Every fucking time I try to call the insurance to get an appointment with a doctor, they poison me or do whatever the fuck they're doing, remote control, make me sick. I got blood coming out my nose, blood coming out my stomach. So I think I'm fine. The baby is moving. The doctor just did an ultrasound. His heart rate is good, but I'm definitely having some tightening and it's not normal to throw up blood. So we're figuring out what's going on. What the hell, you guys, if I didn't have bad luck, would I have any luck? I need a change in karma, please. I've been a good person, I swear. This has to be generational. Why did these people have access to my house? Because I'm a dumb bitch. That's why. And they're using Xavier's eyes to create disgusting fucking content of horse and sell it. Thank you, AI. I miss my children and I want to go home. I hope you all fucking die. Recreationally, I've tried an ecstasy or a mushroom. I have never done crack. I have never done heroin. I have never done methamphetamine. None of that. I don't need to be forced into drug abuse. There has never been a point in my life where anyone in my family has had to feel afraid to leave their purse by me or loose money around me. I don't steal from people. Ever have I been a cocaine addict or user, ever. The only time you would ever even see me pretending to use cocaine is if a client or a service was dependent on my using it. Believe it or not, there are a lot of people who will not hire you, especially when they are paranoid drug users, unless you, at the very least, pretend to be one. So yes, I'm even better than you in that sense, and that's not ego. No, we must be in China. So, or not China, where's that place where they're oppressive? Kong Jong Long lives there. He never poops. North Korea. Why these disgusting fucking addicts continue to follow us? These motherfuckers follow us and try to get us to do drugs. You can make me want to stab my fucking self. And the reason for that is because whoever the fuck was wearing Xavier's skin the other day, if anyone knows me, they knows I don't post smut. And I tried to put on my eyelash. I starts tearing up, can't fucking see. I'm like crying, trying to save the look. Someone replaced my eyelash glue with acetone. And what I noticed is that every time they make him cross-dress, it's not Xavier cross-dressing, they're playing us like we're fucking action figures.
Have you ever been jumped and stabbed by 3 women?
Have you ever been raped, forced to walk outside for 5 days, withheld sleep and food, and then held down and fucked from behind? That's why I keep telling you guys, this is Satan's world. Satan wants me to beat the fuck out of a bitch while I'm pregnant. That is what Satan wants. Jehovah God, please. I am sensing so many nefarious, just evil presences. Someone broke into his house. He claims it was a spirit. I didn't have sex with anyone consensually except for Xavier. There was one guy that it's questionable, so they were rapes, but we won't call them rapes just because, right? We don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. I think the closest thing I came into a fist fight was when my lesbian cousin Ashley and I slapped each other once each at the Puerto Rican parade.
And then they brought a can of air duster for your computer and told me, kill yourself. Kill yourself. I swear to God.
they wanted me to use air duster. Getting raped, getting robbed. If I ran into a grocery store after being held against my will and raped for a week in an unmarked location and stole a fucking protein bar and you didn't do shit to help me, you're the fucking problem. Go away. He said, you goofy fucking bitch. Ripped the wall off, kicked me in my eye, and then looked at me and said, you should have just said it was only one person, and ran away. If you guys look on my page or you Google it, deep faking is when people go through extraordinary efforts to create circumstances and present circumstances that are not real. I have been chased all the way from Tampa Bay, Florida, back up to Chicago, by vehicle, by foot, by moped. It's like a rhyme. It's like a rhyme. A lot of people have done it because they're using my situation and my circumstances as a model. Don't be foo-foo, just go delulu, or something like that. Basically, the message is just be crazy, right? When they lean on you too hard, just be crazy. But I'm not crazy, and it's very difficult for me to act crazy. The closest thing to crazy I get is like violent thoughts. And what I mean by that is after I've been raped multiple times, I start fantasizing about holding jagged pieces of glass up to men's necks or dicks and chopping them open.